One day, Mr. Gruber took Paddington to a fair. There were lots of games at the fair. "Shall we do the Busy Bee Adventure Trail?" suggested Mr. Gruber. Paddington thought that was a good idea, especially when Mr. Gruber told him the prize was a boat ride. "Bears are good at looking for things, Mr. Gruber," said Paddington. Mr. Gruber explained that the Busy Bee Adventure Trail was all about looking for things that began with the letter B. Paddington looked around. He could already see a boy blowing bubbles and a man eating a bagel and a man playing a banjo and a lady with some bananas and lots of balloons and a boy, bit of a sneaky looking boy, with a book. Paddington wrote all these things down, and as they walked along he saw some birds and a bridge and some blossoms and butterflies, and then he saw a lady wearing a bonnet feeding bread to the ducks, and she was wearing a blouse and she had a bracelet around her wrist. The lady gave some of her bread to Paddington. She really meant him to give it to the ducks, but Paddington sat down and got his marmalade out of his suitcase and made it into a sandwich. Whilst he was eating, something stripy landed on his sandwich. It was a bee. Paddington wrote that down too, added it to his list. Further along they met a man who was fishing. He had on boots and he was sitting next to a basket and a bucket, and he had a belt with a buckle. "Would you like to have a try fishing?" said the man. "You can use some of my worms if you like." "I'm going in for the Busy Bee competition," said Paddington. "You better watch out," said the fisherman. "There's a nosy boy who's been following you around. I think he's up to no good." Paddington threw the line into the water and caught something that felt really big. "I think it's a whale," he said. Mr. Gruber and Paddington and the fisherman pulled and pulled until out came a bicycle. Paddington was disappointed. "Never mind," said Mr. Gruber, "it's another bee for your list." As they went along the canal, they saw another boat with a lady and a baby and a bottle. You can add those to your list. And also, the baby's sister was holding a ball. Mr. Gruber looked at his watch. "It's time we got back. We don't want to be late for the judging." "Good luck," said the fisherman. "Good luck," said the lady who had been cheering the ducks. "How many bees has everybody collected?" said the judge. "I've got 41, said Paddington. "So have I," said the boy who'd been following Paddington around. "It's all right, Mr. Gruber," called Paddington. "I've thought of another one. And that gives me 42. Imagine forgetting the most obvious bee of all. I'm a bear." Paddington and Mr. Gruber got their free boat ride. And then when it was dark, they stood on the bridge. Paddington had a sparkler, and they watched the fireworks in the sky. Thank you for a lovely day out, Mr. Gruber," said Paddington. "But now I think it's time for the last bee of all. It's time to go to bed."